maybe average. People that are generally below 100 APM is who I kind of target my audio commentaries for. So if you're above that, you might not find a lot of this information useful. But he does get a boots of speed, and he's got the orb, and you'll see he does have the staff. Those are three key items you pretty much want to have in your Demon Hunter in the late part of the game. It also helps to get some pots. You're going to want to get health pots and invuln pots to keep them alive. You notice the panda is also has some nice items on him. You see a lot of mana items on the panda. Got a pendant of energy and a purple of vitality. Want to keep your secondary hero as buff as possible, especially with his strength hero. You can kind of amplify his effectiveness by iteming him up. With the solo Demon Hunter, it's hard. You can see his whole game. He really hasn't been able to do anything with his solo Demon Hunter. This whole game, he's been able to coil and save a few ghouls every now and then. But because he oh man, he got blocked by that sheep there. That was kind of funny. But he's still going to make it alive, out alive. He's just not able to really do a lot. He's just kind of an annoyance, like a fly running around. He's not really doing anything that's very key to this. Another good advantage to going in the Dark Ranger is she's an undead hero, so won't be able to be nuked by coil by the undead. So this game is pretty much over. We'll watch it for the final fight, I think, when it happens. You can take a look at the food counts right now, 33 to 49. And the Night Elf does have another expansion coming up after he just lost that other one. So he'll be able to, or he's got his expansion where he moved his Tree of Eternity too. So easily going to have enough resources to continually refortify his army. Again, we got bears and dryads. Let's take a look at what he's got. He's got 4 bears and 3 fairy dragons. And again, just his heroes being so high level, they're so much more effective than undead heroes at higher levels. Maybe not undead heroes, just having one high-level Demon Hunter or Death Knight isn't as effective. So, seeing the summons trying to go in and do some damage, but still Wisp the spell continues to be effective. How many Wisp had to get detonated to make this happen? But they're cheap. You can keep making them, not a big deal. But here, take a look at the food counts now. 54 to 33. It's not really even a challenge here. The Night Elf can just pretty much A-click and doesn't have to worry about it. But he's A-clicking and using his heroes to use all their abilities, typical micro strategies. And the undead player ends up leaving. So let's get the second replay loaded up, and let me load it up. I think this is on one of the this is on a classic map, so it's not one of the newer ones. This is 4 that I want to look at. Yes, necro-wagon. So this is the second one. This one's on Twisted Meadows, so it's more of a classic map. And as soon as I get it synced up, I'll go tell you a little bit about it from my notes. And you guys can read them as well. Believe the Night Elf player who played in this game is the one who posted this replay. I'm not sure though. I put links to all the replays when they originally posted in that text document too, so if you guys want to look at it. 2 minutes, and we'll go at 1x speed for this, just so we can kind of get it going. Again, this is a shorter one, so it shouldn't take as long for us to discuss. I might speed through it at some points too, so kind of stick near your keyboard. 2 minutes. Come on, let's get there. 2 minutes and 1x speed. I'm almost there. Sorry for yammering on about that. Okay, 2 minutes 2x speed or 1x speed, and we're going to be looking at it from the Night Elf perspective again, because we're trying to figure out counters for them. This was the one on Twisted Meadows. So the APM for the undead in this one was 154, and the Night Elf on this one was 121. I really like this one just because it shows that even that you don't. I mean, it's not a non-APM strategy. It's still very, very effective. This one had really good timing in it. Again, he just couldn't make that push that he had. You're going to see a push at the 11 or 12 minute mark happen. He just wasn't able to finish it off. And the big reason he ends up losing this is he does lose his Death Knight, and he isn't able to finish off this Demon Hunter, which just gives a big, big advantage to the Night Elf player in the end. So we'll watch this as it happens, and I'll point out some of the intricacies that I see or that I failed to talk about in my notes. Let's pause it at the 2 minute and 10 minute mark, or 2 minute 10 second mark, sorry. And we're going to watch it at 2x speed, just because I think we can go through it. There's no need to watch it at 1x speed. I can make my point across, and we don't have to waste so much time watching the replay. If you guys want, feel free to watch the replay again at the 1x speed, and so you can look at all the little things, but I'll be able to point out things as I see them. So we're at 2 minutes 10 seconds at the 2x speed, and we're going to unpause in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Again, we're going to see the solo Demon Hunter versus solo Death Knight. In this instance, we're seeing very common cookie cutter type creeping strategy on this map, and the undead was able to scout out early, and he's going to be able to pick off this archer. It's going to be really, really sweet. It's just not nighttime enough for that to happen. Unfortunately, all his mana is going to get burned. He's going to have to stick back. He's trying to get the last hit on some of those creeps, and I think he got it on the last one. I'm not sure. I'll have to Take a look at his experience. Maybe not. Looks like the Demon Hunter got it because he's a higher level at this point. So again, just keeping tabs on your opponent when you're going this fast tech strategy. This is another good example of why you got to just be in your opponent's face. He does end up losing his Death Knight, I believe, at some point coming up soon here. At the first sign of night, the Night Elf is going to run all the way to the Goblin Merchant and pick up his Boots of Speed. That's exactly what time you wanted to get that. Save 250 gold and make that happen, because being able to chase down weak units or weak heroes is very, very important, especially if your opponent doesn't get Boots of Speed. Just a huge, huge advantage for you. So that was a good little scout wisp right there. Now the Demon Hunter's on with Boots of Speed, and the Death Knight does not have Boots of Speed, so it's going to be a little bit of a trouble here for him. Like I said, he does end up losing his Death Knight here through whatever reasons, lag, or he didn't cast his Town Portal because it was only a level 1 hero, so he didn't want to waste it. Waste his resources on that. Wow, that Knoll camp was still being fought up until just this second. That must have been the longest creeping experience I think I've ever witnessed. So even with the Demon Hunter, or with the Death Knight dead, he was still able to have enough resources to summon up his 2 Temple of the Damned and his Slaughterhouse. Now the Night Elf player still hasn't scouted this out. He knows he's going for a tech strategy, but up until this moment he doesn't know that he's going to be up against necro-wagon. So you see that he's typically just going his regular tech. He's going his regular progression. He's got, you know, just archers and Demon Hunter, and he's teching with his Ancients of Wind. Looks like he's going some Druids of the Talon. Let's see what he mixes in later on. Undead again, trying to keep that pressure on. He needs to keep him busy for about another 3-4 minutes or so. Around 11 or 12 minutes is when this strategy is very, very effective when you want to make it happen. So maybe even 6 minutes. We'll see when he actually makes his push. I didn't make a note of that. So now the Demon Hunter sees that he's got Temple of the Damned going, and he's going to be up against necro-wagon. This is, if you see these 2 buildings and you see the Slaughterhouse right there, that's your sign right there. You know, necro-wagon. Typically, taking a look at the food counts, it's still 20 to 30, nothing really big happening here, but we're going to watch as the undead player does get around 40 food before he makes his hit happen, and he does get that Exhume Corpses ability on his meat wagons, which he's researching in the Slaughterhouse, and he gets all the upgrades for the skeletons, which is important in the strategy. Now, what makes this strategy so effective is Blizzard has actually buffed Necromancers a lot in past versions to try to make them more useful, and he makes their researchers come very, very quickly. The only thing that takes a good amount of time is Necromancer's master training, which is what's happening right now. And that takes probably the longest out of all the researches. And if you have 2 Temple of the Damned going, you can get all those things being researched at the same time while continually pumping Necromancer. So we're seeing we got about 40 food here. He's playing this, again, that orc style, so maybe he's waiting for 50 food. Again, being a little bit more defensive at this point until he gets his army going. But it's more important to go timing now. He was able to keep his opponent kind of busy, distract him long enough to where he wasn't able to do too much right now. But you know the strategy's happening right now. For the past 3 minutes, it's about 6 minutes or so, the Night Elf player has, knows that he's up against Necromancer. So he had Necromancer, so he's going to have 3 minutes to decide how to deal with that and make it happen. So he decides to go Chimeras. Very good choice in this, like I said from the other replay. We didn't see him in that replay, but this might have been the one I was thinking about. We'll see how effective they are versus the strategy. And it's another counter that you Night Elves can consider when you're going to be playing against the strategies. Lots of Fairy Dragons, again, piercing damage, good versus Necros, and Mana Flare. That's effective as well, especially if he's going to be going auto-cast, and even if it's manual cast, it does, if they're in that Flare mode, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. But you'll see how powerful this push is, even having the direct counter to it, or a few counters to it. Having 3 minutes or more to prepare for it. Looks like he even had 4 or 5 minutes to prepare for it. He's not going to be able to do anything. So it's Cripple on the Demon Hunter. Very cool move right there. The Town Portal does go off to save him, but and he's going to be really low hit points for a long time here too. I'm like racking my head as why he can't get in there and get a coil off, or